It's a lovely morning, and we thank God we are alive. And I know why I say that, because for me, and I know for everyone, life is one of the most precious, in fact, it's the most precious gift you can ever have, which is why when we lose it abruptly, it becomes a concern. But one wonders, why do we play with this life as precious as it is? We woke up this January this year with bad news. In fact, I was trying to trail it. It's more than 4 of them happening at different points, including Abuja. Salome is a big case. We've been talking about it. We woke up to hear that a beautiful girl with a lot of prospects facing her, a lot of lively life facing her, was just removed from Mother Earth by her boyfriend, Timileye. And as much as we mourn, we know that many more has happened. Recently again, a couple of days back, a lady killed a maid because she was watching TV. Some people have been burnt. We intend to look at all of that. And we're wondering, how did we begin to lose that respect for life? If you didn't create it, why are we dropping it off from Earth? My name is Elizabeth, and the show is Conversation. I have somebody says the usual squad. Yes, the usual squad. They're all in the house. And before, when the montage was rolling, something happened. I'm going to just, throw you all under the bus now. You said you didn't know how to sit like a lady. And Dewa was trying to teach you.
Oh, no.
I said it.
I know, it's fine. But what I said was that I wasn't sure whether, they say when you cross your leg like this, it means something. Yeah, but then the queen, the etiquette of the royal family, I heard that this is how they sit. So I wasn't sure. Since I don't be queen now.
She was asking which one is more appropriate, crossing at the ankle or crossing at the knee. And we were debating. I'm like, yeah, I know there's some etiquette around it and things like that. I'm too much of a tomboy to teach anybody. Forget this thing. Now for sure.
What did I say? As long as you don't open your legs.
Okay, to answer your question, I was told that the right way to sit, especially if you're a little bit on the heavy side, is to cross on the ankle. Because if you cross the knee, a lot of times you could get a numb somehow. And then if you also have a bit of varicose vein, it can actually accelerate the development. So it's always better to cross on the ankle. And again, if you're wearing a skirt,
that's it.
That is on your knee, when you sit, you find out that it pulls up a little bit. So when you cross here,
we get a little too much information.
Yeah, we have yes, too much information. That's it. So question answered. Joy, last week you actually started this topic for us when you talked about Salome.
Yes.
I don't know, when you heard that news, how did you feel?
It was sad because the guy had no remorse. They asked him the question 3 times. Do you feel bad that you killed her? And he said, no, he would do it again. And what angered me here was the 2 sides of the story. Here they said she was kidnapped by her family, and the people around there said, no, we've seen her for close to a year around this place. And there's a joint that they normally sit down to eat and drink, but he doesn't want to mention it.
She and the boy.
And the boy. And you see, this is the problem. I keep saying it, that most of the time, women are so comfortable with people they know, so they're relaxed. I think these days, these times, like I said last week, anywhere you're going, I think you should tell one person. Yeah. If you can't tell one person, send your location to somebody you trust.
It beats me how, a person just goes and you have a boyfriend, you claim he's been your boyfriend for 1 year, and your family don't seem to, know the person, which is why I still believe and suspect that they weren't really dating.
No, that's not true. What was the reason he killed her? The reason he killed her, because he saw her phone. She was talking to some other boyfriend. So that's the thing. You see, how many people can handle anger? Because for me, if you know that she had multiple partners, why didn't you just let her go? Why did you have to kill her?
But what about if that killing was done out of, ritual purposes? I mean, there were backs of...
You see, I've heard so many versions of that story that I'm not willing to conclude on any. only the police after investigations might be able to give us sufficient insight.
I like your might.
Yes. I think that chap who, Timilein, he will say anything to make himself look good. There are people who have said, when I was single, I had a plethora of platonic guy friends. I liked being around guys because they are not trying to snatch your boyfriend. They are not in competition with you. True. You understand? I felt like I got genuine friendship from them. I, of course, stepped out of those kinds of relationships as a result of marriage. You know, I wouldn't want anybody to think something was going on. So the fact that you're sitting somewhere sharing a drink with somebody does not mean you people are necessarily in an intimate relationship.
Yes.
And the person, somebody else has stepped forward to say, I am the person dating this lady. And the family have acknowledged that this is the person we know. So all kinds of stories are coming out around who she was dating, who she wasn't dating. The bottom line is this. There was no reason for her to have been butchered. And it is said that, and again, you don't know how much of these stories are true, how much of apparently what flesh was left apart from the head that he was carrying around had been deboned.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's even assume she's your girlfriend, you've looked at her phone, you've seen why would you go that whole stretch of removing the head, transporting it around? I can understand breaking up what's left of it into smaller parts for easier disposal, but why debone it? You know that we have, unfortunately, there seems to be, cannibalism seems to be alive and well in this country.
True.
Like people
some of the kidnappers,
eating flesh.
Human flesh. Some of the kidnappers' dens that have been stumbled upon by the police in the course of investigating stuff, you go there and you see evident signs of cannibalism.
Wow.
Are people doing this only for ritual purposes, dark spiritual arts, or over time have people, maybe for some reason they started it and then suddenly it became a fetish, it became something that they got used to and they now need to have that. And of course, there will be somebody for whom 300,000 will be enough to go and do something like that and bring you human flesh.
Honestly.
The same 300,000 that you'll give somebody else and the person will be reluctant to even thank you because it's like, what do you want me to do with it? So I think we should manage our conversation around what happened with this lady, with who she was dating, all this, until we are certain by the time the police, because it's too public.
Yes, it's
for the story to suddenly go quiet the way it sometimes happens.
Yeah, there's so many opinions and sides to that story. But I know that we're going to get to find out a whole lot when it comes to justice, because I heard the sister talking about getting the right justice done. And director, can we get the studio or the LX partners? I know that a barrister is joining us from there, Barrister Rebecca Ebokbo. Okay, she's ready for us. So, Barrister, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll be joining you shortly to find out the legal angle to what we are discussing. But right now, let me find out, mentally speaking, Coach Didi, you're a mental health coach. What's the family going through at the moment? Because I just can't imagine it.
To be honest, you don't even have to be a mental health coach to figure out what a family could be going through if they lose a child. It's traumatic. Yeah. Losing a child on its own is traumatic. Losing a child in that manner, God, honestly, I cannot imagine. Yeah. I haven't been through it, so I cannot even speak about it. But I do know that they are traumatized. That's for sure. They must be traumatized, and it's sad. When she was saying something about whether or not they are dating, because someone came out and said they are dating. Funny enough, I didn't even know about this. Somebody said, Kojidi, you live in your own bubble. I did not, until you people talked about it, I didn't hear it, because I don't even come across this kind of stories. But I do know that women date multiple partners.
Yeah.
So Also, she could be dating that one and still dating another. She could be dating 5 people, 2 people. It doesn't really matter. And also possible that they're not even dating. They may just be friends. Bottom line is that this lady is dead. That's a fact. And like Devon said, now it's left for the police to actually do their work. And let's get to the bottom of it.
My question is, why are we having, repeated cases of this? In January alone, as horrible as it is, we've had cases up to, in fact, Devon and I, we kept going back and forth. In Nigeria alone, we actually had up to, and you sent me one or two too, we've had more than 6 within Nigeria.
Discovered cases.
You see,
discovered cases.
These are the known cases.
Yes, these are the known cases. You know, I think was it 2 days ago? It was in Anambra, where they found this gigantic hotel. And and they had to, I was crying because here were clothes. They had clothes, then they had the graves, then they had the, the shrine in Anambra.
Somebody's child.
And guess what? It was
a lot is happening there.
It's a hotel. It was massive. So guess what? I think it's a kidnapping. I think it's a kidnapping syndicate as well. And you see, most of the times, like the story we're talking about, Salome, like they said, they didn't see the particulars. They didn't see the breast. They didn't see certain
that's
things.
The particulars.
Yeah. So now the thing here now is, you see this, I think it's a syndicate. I have a feeling that, he did what he did. Sometimes you say that maybe too many stories, it might not be true, but I've always said there's always an element of truth. Because one thing the guy said was that we see him with different women. After a while, we don't see him. We don't see the women anymore.
True.
So the thing here is that I don't think that's the first time this guy is doing it. I feel for people, for women, because you don't even know who you're dealing with. I don't know when we've gone a bit on the crazy side, because that day I sent a message to you.
Just look at the guy. Look at him.
Yeah.
Living
that
his
was
life.
4 weeks.
After. He said he's a gospel
singer. This was 4 weeks before this was what he posted. People give you, there are some people you're with them for like 6 months, 8 months, comfortable with them. Okay, let's leave this Salome's case. You have a little girl as a help, because that girl is a child.
Wow.
She is watching
TV
with your kids, and you kill her
for watching television.
And
I noticed the woman was busy carrying her own child.
See the way she was
and
cuddling.
defending.
She was cuddling her own child. So I don't know where we lost it, but there's something fundamentally wrong with us. I think many people have mental issues.
Let me not take it out from you. Let's see if we can take this particular, feature on the, overview of femicide in Nigeria. The scourge of ritual mothers is spreading alarmingly across Nigeria, with a disturbing twist of young people increasingly involved. What was once considered the domain of hardened criminals have now become a haunting reality among teenagers and young adults, including secondary school students, who in a haste to get rich quick, run with the belief that money rituals involving human sacrifice is a thing. These heinous crimes are orchestrated by acquaintances who betray their victims' trust, setting them up to brutal mutilation in pursuit of wealth. Women, especially young girls, are increasingly becoming targets of ritual mothers due to societal vulnerability and harmful gender stereotypes. According to research by an NGO, the West African Network for Peace Building, Nigeria recorded 185 ritual-related deaths between January 2021 and January 2022. These tracked incidents occurred in 43 women, 30 children, and 80 cases across 20 states. Women are more vulnerable to ritual killings due to factors like poverty, lack of education, and social isolations. There are countless cases of women killed by their supposed boyfriends for ritual purposes. In 2019, a 22-year-old woman, Favour Dali Oladele, was killed by her boyfriend, Owolabi Adeyemi, for ritual purposes in Ogun State. In 2022, another 22-year-old lady, Oluwabamisi Anyanwole, was allegedly killed by a BRT driver, Andrew Omenikoro, in Lagos State. According to DOHS Cares Foundation Femicide report, no fewer than 133 ladies were killed between January 2024 to December 2024. This year, as early as January, several cases have already been recorded. Why are women and children becoming increasingly sacrificial objects to quick wealth? How can we mitigate against this trend and protect the female gender? All right, it's a sad one, really sad, and I wish I can answer most of the questions. All I say every day is, God, please protect our children. You know, I have 3 girls, and and us too. Yes. So because recently a boy killed the mother.
Adopted.
The adopted mother.
His
That's
mom.
the Yoruba.
Yeah,
the Yoruba boy.
Yeah.
Then the Akwa Ibom boy killed, not Akwa Ibom, Cross River, killed the mom on Christmas Day. Can you imagine it?
Yeah, that he wanted to use her pubic hair for rituals.
No, that he has already collected everything.
That was the purpose. That was the inclination.
I don't know.
That was why he did it. And this is your son. Like, where does it end? If I have to fear my son, how can we blame girls for not knowing what somebody they've been with for 2 years is capable of? This is somebody that came out of your body, your flesh and blood, that you've nurtured, you've raised, you're probably still feeding. He's living in your house, and he knows that he needs to get rid of you so that he can. Yeah, there are stories of people that had to, young men looking for money, so because of that they have to defile their mothers and subsequently kill the mother, and then blah blah blah. How come these traditional juju people never tell them, go and kill your father? Like, it's not good to kill anybody, but why do they always send them to the vulnerable? No, the man will probably be able to fight back.
I thought you were going to ask the question I've always asked. How come they are living in a thatch house and they are helping you build millions?
No, but
you think
the
it's
thing
possible?
is, at a point I got curious about these things and started reading up on it. The currency that people who practice the dark arts look for is not cash. They don't need cash. They need something else.
Like?
All those things they send you to go and do, they derive negative energies from there. That is the currency that works for them in the things that they need to do.
The native doctor gets the same currency and make all the money, because he's asking you to pay him 200,000.
I'm telling you that money is not important to these people. The realm on which they operate, money has no value there.
Oh, okay.
You are on a different realm. Money is of value to you here. It's of no value for them where they're working.
All right, let's quickly go back to Alex Partners. Director, I don't know if you can still get the Alex Partners. Let's quickly ask a few questions to Barrister Becky. Barrister, we're just wondering, with this happening, on a regular basis, how can we, ladies, women, girls, protect ourselves? I don't know what people call it in your legal terms, but can you educate us how we can protect ourselves?
Thank you very much. The statistics are very alarming, and there's no better time to talk about this occurrence than now. Protecting ourselves has a lot of dynamics to it. First, we have to be self-aware. We have to know that we are sometimes endangered species as women. You already have told us this morning that women are increasingly becoming objects of ritualism. And it's important for women to know what the law provides and what to do when they have, impressions or reasons to believe that they may become subjects of such femicide or threatened violence. Most times, prolonged exposure to gender-based violence is what results eventually into femicide. But a lot of women see the signs and they just keep being hopeful. They say prevention is better than cure. Why wait till you are killed before you take action? It's important for women to know that they have rights that the law recognizes. As a matter of fact, not just women, nobody deserves to be killed, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman. And it's not even in every case that a woman is being killed by a man. Sometimes women are being killed by their fellow women. There are incidences that are underreported, so the data is not very accurate. But in any case, it's important for people to know that our laws in Nigeria provides for both human. We have fundamental rights guaranteed under the Constitution. For gender-based violence especially, we have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. And under that law, there are a lot of provisions that protect women from domestic violence, rape, even harmful cultural practices, female genital mutilation. Even the Child Rights Act protects children and the girl child from all sorts of abuses. In the north, we have the penal code. In the south, we have the criminal code. And these laws have ample provisions that protect and provides penalty when the offenses have already been committed. But what do people need to know when such offenses are committed? First, there needs to be protection of the evidence. Sometimes victims don't get justice, and it's because the evidence have been tampered with. When a femicide occurs, what should the immediate respondents in that environment do? First, a report should be made to the closest available law enforcement agency. And for law enforcement agency, the police is, our ready friend, as they make us know that they are always at our beck and call to respond to issues like this. The people around the victim should immediately seek help medically, even if the victim has passed away. Most times when you report the case to the hospital or take the victim to the hospital, the doctors are able to put in the records. It shows the time when the victim was brought in, and it helps to manage the evidence that would help to seek justice in that case. But when people, sometimes for religious reasons, will say, let's just go and do the burial, somebody has passed away. Then after, the evidence has already been destroyed, how do you get justice? And in some cases, the immediate environment where the scene occurred, people don't photograph, they don't do the video to take the evidence of what actually transpired. And in the case of Salome that we have mentioned this morning, you see that people have said that this young man had various ladies coming around, and after a while they don't see them again. But nobody was raising the alarm until we have to deal with Salome's case. What if others have been prevented, or other, possible femicides have also been reported? Perhaps Salome would not be a victim. Those are some of the thoughts that come to my mind. Do people really know that there can be justice when things like this happen? Sometimes people don't believe in the justice system because when their loved ones are killed, violently so, it takes a long time to get justice. Sometimes the matter lingers in court for so many years. And sometimes the prosecutors don't help matters too, because sometimes they're not sufficiently empowered to prosecute the cases. And sometimes it's difficult too, because the victim's family will come around and say, we want to leave it for God. I don't know how these things work. But when it comes to justice, I think God is a God of justice. So it's difficult to help people who don't want to be helped sometimes, because a woman came around I think in Lagos, last week or within the last 2 weeks, and the report was that she had been battered because she went to pick her children from school in a manner that was not modestly dressed. And in a couple of days, when people were crying, we need justice for this woman, she said, no, please, I don't need this justice. My husband is good. How do you help people like that? So it's a mixture of a lot of dynamics. But those are the immediate thoughts that come to my mind. People need to be self-aware. We need to advocate more. Our law enforcement agencies need to be better empowered. People need to stop tampering with evidence. And on the whole, we need to empower ourselves as women so that we don't become victims. Most of the women that become victims because They depend on the people, on the perpetrators of their femicide. They depend on them for financial, survival and all sorts of things. They are vulnerable. But if we try to empower ourselves and let women know that there can be help for them, they can speak out, they will find help. There are civil society organizations that can help. The Human Rights Commission is there. There are a lot of organizations that help women and even provide shelter, because a lot of them think that when they get thrown out of the house, perhaps by their husbands, they have nowhere to go. So they keep enduring, several months and decades of domestic violence that may end up leading to femicide. So we just need to keep talking about these things, educate our women, empower law enforcement agencies, and hopefully in the years to come, the narrative will change.
Okay. Thank you very much. That was quite detailed, and I like the fact that even though Joy was, I noticed you were smiling when she was saying that the minute it happens, we should move up to the law enforcement agents to take, a study of what has happened to help us, secure justice later. I don't know why you had a smile.
No, it was, yeah, she said that, and the next thing she said was, police is your friend, and I just giggled because sometimes they say, yeah, police is your friend, but is police really your friend?
It's you answering.
because you see, most of the time, by the time you go to the police, to even start the case, to start the writing, they will tell you to bring money. By the time you now go to the other place, it depends on who has more money. Most of the time, these cases are thrown. Why some people just want to just leave it, bury their families, is because the more you go to the police, it stretches. The more you go to the courts, it stretches. Who is paying more? After a while, what do they say? Because Timileyin has already, they've taken him to court. And here I am watching Timileyin and the lawyers trying to bring insanity.
The DPO, or I think that's the DPO, of the place it happened in Nasarawa.
In Nasarawa.
The uncle of
Salome.
Salome.
Yes.
Adaidu, Mr. Daidu. I was listening to him yesterday. Yeah. He said that he's very happy, in fact, that he's going to commend the police station up to the commissioner, possibly because the man has not asked them for 1 naira. He has not asked them for paper. And even without reaching the family, he's making move. And I'm proud to say that is the police we should have. That whoever the police officer is, he's worthy of commendation. Oh, yes. But then, moving on, she also mentioned something, people hiding from, shielding away from what has happened. Like the woman she talked about. We all saw
I have my view on that.
Okay.
I don't believe she wrote that thing she was reading.
Oh, wow.
I honestly believe that man wrote that thing.
Yes, I agree with you.
And was standing in front of her and told her that the same way you took this thing to social media,
that's the same way.
You have to retract it on that same social media. Yeah. Otherwise, it's me and you in this house. I'll do it in a hurry.
But what happened?
Why doesn't she walk away?
What happened to walking away?
Look, let me allow Coach Didi to even talk on that one.
I do this session on Hush Conversations on Instagram, and one of the sessions was, why do women stay? Why do women stay in toxic, abusive, unhealthy relationships? It's trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding?
Yes.
What kind of super abuse?
Sometimes when women have been through so much, they accept it as a reality. This is my reality. And see, our culture does not help. Because when you've been raised to believe that you are nothing, you can be nothing unless you have a man in your life. No matter how bad you reach, you better say, there are parents who tell their children, don't come back, I'd rather have your dead body. Yes.
I was going to go there.
Their kids, so tell me, why are you going to? You are economically dependent, 100% dependent on this person. He didn't let you go to school in some cases.
Yeah.
So you are not even empowered enough to earn 1 naira.
Even
you have very low self-esteem.
You are not allowed to work.
See, if you didn't, at least you went to school, you know that you have a chance. You can, but you didn't go to school. You have very low self-esteem. You cannot even stand and speak. And your reality is this abuse that you saw your father do to your mother, your grandfather did to your own grandmother. So it's a reality. This is your reality. This is how it's supposed to be. That is why women stay.
I hear people saying, oh, she didn't develop herself. If only she had money. Go and see the number of women. There's this guy on TikTok. His name is Daniel. Let me not call his entire handle. It will sound as if I'm advertising him. 2014, early 2014, January, he did a series of the number of killings of women that were better economically empowered than their spouses. He did a 2-part series, and these were the cases that had made it to the police station. In every instance, these women had more money than the man, as a result of which they were now dead, because that man wanted control of the resources.
It's insecurity.
And he was insecure, jealous, and whatever else. So the thing is, as far as staying alive is concerned, forgive me if because I guess I'm a little sarcastic at this point. The lady who doesn't have but is married to a man who has is better off than a woman who is married to a man who is very poor. They're both very poor, or she has more money than the man.
Insecurity is a big issue.
Because almost all the instances of intimate partner violence I've come across where the woman ended up dead, the love, and it didn't have anything to do with ritual killing. Let's take the case of the man who set his wife on fire and burnt her to death.
Exactly, that's the same Anambra.
That was about a week ago.
That's
Anambra
the same
State.
Anambra State.
First of all, this man is as ugly as sin.
The man is the ugly welder.
That's what I said. I said he's as ugly as sin.
Yes.
He's as poor as dirt.
Yes.
This lady is
He's
good
a breadwinner.
looking. I still don't understand what the attraction was. And he took her life on suspicion of infidelity. Not
that he saw.
Not decided though. Not that it was concrete. Maybe he walked in and saw. On suspicion of. Now, to make matters worse, this man had threatened to do this several times prior.
There was a time he even carried bottle. The children confirmed it.
Good. And this is a lady. This is a lady that has given him 5.
That's the man.
This is
Look
yes,
at the man.
the one in the light blue on the left.
No, but you can see evil.
This is a woman who has split her body open and given this man 5 children, boys and girls alike. If it were only female, I'd say okay.
Because
she has no value to him because she didn't produce sons.
A male.
This one has sons and daughters. She's the breadwinner. She has money, but she didn't go anywhere. She stayed. We're already married. We already have kids. I'll hustle the money and bring. Let's see how we can go. And she's the man's enemy. She's his enemy to the point where he can pour petrol on her and light her on fire.
To bring lighter.
Yes.
And this is something he has been saying over time. Let me hide
that's
in this place
the
first.
woman that was the woman that was burnt to death. Yes.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
I've run away from this person.
Yes,
Let me
where
hide
else
here, pending
do I
when I
go
can
to?
get myself
Yeah.
together. There's only one I'm aware of in Lagos, and I've even forgotten the name because they're so secretive.
Yes, about
And about the time, even the women that are able to say, I've had enough, let me get out of this thing to save my life. It is at that point when you are trying to leave that your life is most at danger.
I agree with you.
We also have the story, this one happened last year, of the lady that went for the Commonwealth Games.
Yes.
Came back East
The
Africa.
boyfriend, yes.
East Africa.
He was in
Yes.
Uganda. Yes.
She didn't even win.
set her ablaze.
She didn't even win.
Just because she became popular.
No,
And
the thing here is sorry to butter. The thing here is that we're talking about people killing people. What happened yesterday, the story of the woman and her kids. Yeah, you saw your husband cheating. So why did you have to kill yourself and kill your children?
I don't understand.
I'm hearing this one for the first
Yes,
time.
yes,
No,
last
it happened yesterday.
This happened yesterday.
Yesterday.
Where?
I can't even remember.
But in
I think-
Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Because she caught her husband cheating.
on her with the housemaid.
With the housemaid.
So she killed the 2 children, lovely boy
Yes.
and lovely
How?
girl.
Poison?
Who knows? But
I
they're
don't know,
dead.
She
All of
killed
them
them
are
and
dead.
killed herself.
And she
does-
let the culprits go.
Thank you. So the man is
I don't like-
she's giving the maid.
I think we're feeling each other because
Yes.
if my mind were
So who
to
is
go in
supposed
that
to die here
direction,
now?
You see, sorry to say, if I'm going to kill, I'll kill the
Yes,
maid.
now.
Thank
if
you.
somebody must die.
if somebody
So
must
you
die,
see,
it's going to be
this
the maid.
is- I don't know.
Not
what
my
is-
kids,
I think I
and
don't
not
know
me.
what's happening. You know, some people think that, and like I say all the time, marriage has to take you to heaven.
Yeah.
Look, it's better for you to be alive than to be dead. Most of the time, you see, the good thing with you is that you do episodes before I say I do. Men that are violent have showed you
Yeah.
in
Red
your
flags.
courting,
There are always red flags.
they're red flags.
And you will think you can change him.
You can't change anybody.
It's not possible.
Well, I agree with you completely, Joy. And then there are people who are clever enough, especially the ones that rush you into marriage.
Yes.
Oh, let's be married 3 months,
Yes.
4 months, bam, you're
Yes.
married.
So you can't see anything.
Overnight, the person changes.
Yes.
And it's not that the person changed.
That
The
was
person
it.
just
That's his
managed who
person.
he was, just waiting for you to say, I do.
See, my sister.
Because the thing
Let
is,
me butt in quickly.
a man who
Sometimes they
can...
can even pretend for a long time.
Sure.
Yes.
A man
They
who
don't, it
can...
doesn't have to be sharp.
No.
A man who can lay hands on you when you are still dating.
Yes.
And that is the point where you can walk away. That is the point where it is okay to introduce competition if you want. A man who can beat you up at that point.
No, but I had
You still went ahead and married him.
I had a friend who
When
said
it will
that
be difficult for
when
you to
a man
leave.
beats you, that means he loves you.
Yes, there are women who have this
Yeah.
mentality.
So that's it.
There are women with that mentality.
That if the man
Be-
doesn't beat you,
He doesn't love you. Yes, because you've not been able to
And some of them
rile
get
him
it
up
at home.
enough.
They saw their fathers beat their mothers, and
Yes.
their mother would say, "No, he's doing it because he loves me."
Yes.
So she
yes.
grew up with the
So
belief.
there's a lot
I had a
happening.
neighbor. I
A
had a
lot is
neighbor
happening.
whose husband used to do that to her,
yeah.
and her mother was like, "That's how men are."
Oh.
Are you the first?
It was her father that came to that house and packed her load
And be going.
and left there with
Anyway,
with his
now,
child.
based on what you're saying, I think I want to go back to see if the lawyer is still with us so she can get to talk to us about the support for women. I mean, she talked about going to the police. I'd like to know, barrister, if a woman has such challenge, how does she begin to get, support? I know you have something like the civil society. I don't know if FIDA has something for women as well. How do we begin to get, social support? To go. One story we heard yesterday in Lagos, a woman was about to hang herself, and neighbors, people who were shooting movie just across, were able to save her, and her husband was there with her kids. Nobody bothered to save her.
The husband was watching
Yeah,
actually.
the husband was
Yeah.
watching. So how do we
There was
get?
people shooting a movie that saved her.
How do we
from
begin to
herself.
get a
Yes.
support for such people?
I think that, thank you. I think that we need to first understand that we are each other's keepers.
Yeah.
And what happened yesterday is a testament to that point, that the people who are able to help you are the people first in your immediate environment. Because sometimes you talk about FIDA, you talk about police, you talk about civil society organizations. The people that are really victims are in rural areas and they really don't know, the immediate help that can be available to them. So they are at the mercy of the people in their immediate environment. And Nigerians have shown time and time again that we love each other, and that the narrative about the few bad eggs is not, it should not be overgeneralized, because they are still very kind people. I've had instances where I've taken people in that I don't even know, just because they needed shelter, they needed safety. And I know that a lot of other Nigerians do this for each other, but sometimes too, because of the people that pretend and make it look like they need help when they're actually after other, negative plans in their mind, make it difficult for good people to really want to help. But I would say that the first people that can help are the people in that immediate environment. Take away the victim from immediate exposure to danger. The first place to go, if you don't know anywhere to go, your closest police station. The police can keep you in a protective custody. They have network and they can reach out to all the other civil society organizations. I know that one of the speakers or discussants has said that, is the police really our friend? we have seen the bad ones, we've seen the good ones, but I don't think that the narrative about the bad ones should completely, blow our vision that they're actually the good police out there. And the police is not setting out to be bad as an institution. They're really trying to help. And if there are bad people among them, it's because of, systemic weaknesses and corruption that we find in almost every, tier of government. But that notwithstanding, there are civil society organizations that help. There's the Human Rights Commission that helps. There is FIDA that helps advocate for women who are going through violence and help them seek justice. There is the WRAPA, I think women, I can't remember immediately the acronym, they call them RAPA. Right. There are a lot of protective organizations for women, and there are even some that provide, shelter until the woman is able to find her feet. And NAPTIP comes to mind too. NAPTIP does this a lot too, in the case of women who are being trafficked. And in some cases, even when they are not being trafficked, but they are exposed to immediate danger, they get help from organizations like that. There is the Ministry of Women Affairs as well. I think these organizations need to be more in the open space, let people have their contacts, and there are hotlines too that people can call for counseling. Yeah. There are some organizations that provide those kind of services where people can call in and say, oh, this is a problem I have, and they're able to get immediate support and counseling. But I would say that on the whole, as Nigerians, whether you're a male, whether you're a female, if you see someone in immediate threat of violence or femicide, please do not wait for the person to look for help. Help the person as much as you can to find what immediate help they can get, within that situation that they currently are in. The other things will come in later, but immediately take the person away from that danger, exposure, because it would save the life of the woman. In most cases, it would save the life of their children, because look at women who are going through these difficulties and even thinking about committing suicide and killing their own children. It's like it's just a vicious circle, and we have to try to stop it by helping each other first and foremost.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister. While you were talking, you wanted to add something to what you said?
The thing is, back to what we were talking about, women who are being in really abusive relationships, like end up dying. I think the problem is you. I mean, everybody who is listening, who is watching this, we as a society, we have made it that every woman, the best you can ever be in your life is to be married, regardless of how the marriage is. When a woman decides to actually leave an abusive relationship or marriage, even if it's 5 years, 10, 20, 30, you are the ones who will judge her and condemn her. It's society. And that's one of the reasons why women take it all in and still remain.
True.
If society would stand by women who are divorced, for whatever reason.
Okay, I still want to go stay with the Barrister, because I want to know from you quickly in a very brief manner, because I have a lot of people writing here, so we can take a bit of it. What are those reasons why women find it difficult to take a walk when it becomes too hot?
I'll say dependency syndrome. And of course, the cultural bias that we have, the mindset, sometimes religious beliefs too. These things play a lot in the mind of women. A lot of women don't have the courage to walk away from abusive relationship, and that is just sad. But I would say that the root cause of that is the dependency syndrome. A woman who is not empowered, she's at the mercy of the man. She thinks that she cannot amount to anything without the male factor, and that is very wrong, because a lot of women are doing great things. And we see every day women are, getting the first class, achieving excellence in their professions and their careers. And other women should draw inspiration from this. Life of a woman does not start and end with marriage or a male figure being there. You can change the narrative, even if it has not been so in your lineage, in your family, because a lot of women are replaying what has happened with their mothers and forgetting that the stories of our mothers don't have to be our own story. So you don't have to be completely dependent on a man. You can be empowered. You can go to school. You can be educated. You can start a business. You can decide to work. But again, I must say that sadly, in our generation, we also see women who say, oh, I am born to be taken care of. I do not want to work. I want to marry an Udogu that will take care of me. You see, this is the beginning of how this vicious cycle moves. Because if a woman just sits down and decides that she doesn't want to be used for anything other than being, she sees herself as an object of luxury and she has to be, you know, taken care of. What if that man dies tomorrow? What if his family comes around and tries to play, you know, the devil's advocate and do all the wrong things that happen in cultural practices that are, you know, offensive to our laws, and make it difficult for you to even benefit, even if he leaves a will for you? What then becomes your fate? What becomes the fate of your children? Why won't you, as a woman, want to do something that brings you some kind of liberation? You know, I'm not saying that if you choose not to work and your family is fine with it, I'm not saying you have to make that decision for yourself. I'm just saying these are some of the reasons why women become victims on the long run, because they themselves don't even see themselves as they can amount to anything outside being taken care of by a man. So that narrative has to change.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should start from there.
All right, thank you. Devon, you were going to...
Prevention is better than cure. You find young girls... I'm so happy Joy brought up what she said, that if a man doesn't beat you up, he doesn't love you. Then you find young girls saying things like, I like bad boys. Listen, if you are trying to marry, one of your top 3 should be kindness. Be looking for kindness in that person.
Fear of God.
I don't even like the fear of God thing. It's too nebulous. It's too nebulous, because some of these people that call themselves men of God,
that's not the same thing with fear of God.
It's not the same.
Genuine fear of God.
Yes.
Somebody that has a conscience
in everyday life.
Yeah. Somebody that has a conscience, a living conscience. Somebody that is kind in nature, naturally kind. Somebody that is naturally forgiving. These qualities matter so much. You people call some of them simps. I don't even know what that means. Because a man is kind to you, you think he is weak. So it's that guy that talks to you anyhow. He rubbishes you in front of his friends. You like bad boys. You don't understand. Your brain is not fully developed.
I don't think that's what they mean by bad boys. So.
What do they mean? Because Joy just said that there are women who say if he has not struck you.
No, that's different.
But that's
bad
boy.
Things. Bad is bad now. In English language.
So what do they mean? What do you think they mean?
To be honest, Gen Z, I've heard young girls talk about these bad boys. They're not talking about violent and unkind men. Sometimes bad boys are the ones that are partying. Believe me, many of them, when they say, I don't know about your kind of bad boys, but when they talk about it, they talk about the partying kind.
The thing
you use the word bad.
You see,
I associate it with everything bad.
You see, the thing here is that, like I told you last week, I don't think we're in the same world. Yeah. Bad is bad.
Bad is bad.
Bad is bad. Okay, you meet bad boys who take you to parties. They are on drugs.
Thank you.
And they give you drugs.
Every bad boy who goes to parties on drugs.
I don't. Then the person is not a bad person.
He's not a bad boy. He just went out to have a good time.
Because we understand. Let's go to the dictionary. It's there. When somebody is bad, is bad.
Gen Z use of words is different.
No, see, let me tell you, and that is why Gen Zs are getting into trouble.
They're looking for excitement.
See, let me tell you. You know, when I go and I see all these young people, I notice older people don't do shisha.
It's young people.
It's young people. And for me, it's hype. And it's this hype. And this Instagram and this same TikTok, during our times, we never see those things. It's there in the social media. They are beating. And they are saying, it's because I love you. It is right for a man to beat his spouse. Because if he doesn't love her, that's where they say, that's where the same Gen Z.
I don't know how they do this. Anyway, let's quickly touch base with all this thing. They say when you love someone, you protect the person,
yes.
You don't beat. All right, please, when you see something, say something. That's from Alhaji Gako Karu site, Abuja. Thank you. Okay, so when we see something, we say something. And that's what saved the woman yesterday. The other person says, I'm Brother Peter Pius Watu Ocha. I so much like your conversation this morning on Femicide too, but why did you select only women for the topic? And may God bless you. My dear, we appreciate your concern, but our program is feminine program. So, but once in a while, because we respect the men around us, we bring men, but the program is basically Women program. Good morning, Ma, everyone in the studio. Thank you guys for this program. Please, you women need to stand to stop all this killing. For that guy in Abuja, that guy will not come out alive. He has been doing this. Let police do their work, and justice for from Ojo Nicholas in Otukbo, Benue. Thank you so much, Ojo. And I can assure you that we'll do a follow-up if possible to ensure, and we'll come back here and tell you what happened to him. That's you're talking about Timileye. Most of these issues repeat themselves because of the fact that the perpetrators are not being paid back the same way. Our justice system should help us out. Abdul Rashid from Oyo. And I try to take as much as I can. Good morning. Please, there is a lady in Akwa Ibom where the husband is threatening to kill her if she leaves his house. The man has been beating her, and the worst thing is that the husband is a police officer. He has not been providing for the wife, but he only buys something for his children. Please have been trying to console the wife, but it's becoming unbearable to her, and she has nothing doing as a woman. Please, what can she do about the condition? This is the lady's phone number. She actually said the number. I'm going to read it out. 090-790-72247. So
I hope our husband will not beat her.
And he does not represent the Nigerian police. He does not represent the Nigerian police. He is a man who is beating his wife because he's not doing it because he's a
police officer. I'm sure the police people will not even take on. You may want to give her one or two advice what she should do.
This lady whose
friend is a neighbor is being beaten.
Is
it? Go ahead.
I think it's her neighbor.
Is her neighbor?
I don't know. It's hard to.
I don't give advice.
Because the thing is, all I can say is, if you just newly married this person.
No, she has kids.
I'm just talking generally now because I don't know what to say about this particular case. If you are newly married and maybe the person suddenly changed, or you suddenly realize that the violence amped up, please, if God has so much as blessed you with one child, don't have more. The more children you have, the more difficult it is to live. Even when you can, if you're somebody with a heart, you are frightened of the kind of person you are leaving them with. There are people, parents, male and female alike, that are capable of getting rid of their children. So sometimes people will say, she should leave now, she can come for the children later. Only that woman knows the monster she's dealing with.
Agreed.
It's easier to live with one child or even two than 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The more the children are, the more you are binding yourself in that house.
All right, thank you so much. And just one more. Good morning, presenters and discussants. You are doing a wonderful work at Role Modeling TV show. Please, parents should constantly consult their children on whom they relate with to avoid being a victim in the hands of evil people. This is coming from a senior citizen, Joseph, and he says, Kogi State. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for reaching out to us, and we'll get to do that. A quick one. You want to say bye-bye? Just quickly.
Like he said, parents should let their friends be able to come to the house so that you know the kind of people your kids are hanging around with.
Okay. Okay.
We all have a different threshold for pain. What you can take. What you cannot take until waka pass.
Yes. And like I said, the minute you enter and you discover that you happen to have accidentally married a violent person, may it be that you don't have the mentality that beatings equate to love. If possible, don't even have any children at all and plan your exit.
All right.
If you've had already a child, try not to add more. It makes it more difficult to leave.
Thank you. So let's quickly touch base with Alex Partners, if you're still around. You want to say bye-bye to your viewers? The barrister, can we still have you?
Thank you, Liz. It's been a wonderful conversation this morning. For the lady who's raised an alarm concerning her friend or her neighbor, alleging that the husband is police and probably they cannot go to the police for that, situation, I advise they go to the National Human Rights Commission. The matter will be handled effectively.
All right. right, thank you so much. So you have just heard it, and so you should go to National Human Rights Commission, and they are spread across Nigeria. I'm sure they're there where you are in Akwa Ibom. You can always find them. Go to your church. Even if it's not the church she goes to, go to your own church and report. The church always has this community, of people to assist. Whatever happens later on, if you can, let us know. We want to be sure that the lady is saved. Thank you so much for joining us. And then next week, we'll promise you another exciting package. For now, see something, say something.
I forget to